I want to talk for a couple minutes about the mistakes people make when they invest in their 401k. There's a group of mistakes that are extraordinarily common. People do them over and over again, and the end result is generally that they end up with very poor investment performance over time. None of these things we're going to talk about are rocket science, but they're things everyone needs to focus on and think about, and the end result will be much better. The first and maybe biggest mistake people make in a 401k in particular is not participating, or not participating enough to get the full match if a match is offered through your employer. If you have access to a 401k, that is most people's primary avenue for investing for retirement. Now, the idea of a defined benefit pension is mostly gone for most workers, and so you're responsible for yourself. And if you're not putting money away when you're young, you're not putting much money away throughout your life, you're going to end up with not very much money, and that's going to be a problem. So we like to talk to people all the time about trying to get ahead of that and think things through 30 years down the road when it's going to matter. The other thing is, we mentioned earlier about the match. If you're not getting the full match, you're just leaving free money on the table. So you need to put in enough of your own dollars to get all the dollars your employer might provide. Then the next thing people do, assuming they do contribute and contribute an appropriate amount, is they try to time the market. There's never been a good tool to time the market, and by timing the market I mean getting in and out of the market based on fear and greed. They're the two most basic emotions people have. People are fearful something bad's going to happen, and so they get out, they try to sit in cash, or they try to go to a more conservative allocation, or they see the market taking off and they think, I'm missing the boat, I need to get in with what's hot, and it just doesn't work. A 401k should be looked at as a place you put your safe dollars. You try to separate yourself from that emotion, get properly allocated, and leave it alone. Do not get in and out of the market. It simply doesn't work. The next point I want to talk about asset allocation. People intuitively understand that if you spread your money amongst different securities that have different characteristics, you are helping to try to manage and mitigate some of the risk, but people are primarily left to their own devices when it comes to how they're going to actually execute this asset allocation. And when left to their own devices, people do it very poorly. What you need to look for, number one, you need to look for some kind of model fund or model portfolio if it's available. If they don't have that, look for a target date fund that's going to try to plan for the time when you're going to hit retirement. But don't try to do this on your own. Talk to a professional. Do not talk to your neighbor. Don't talk to your parents. Talk to a professional. They can help you with this because there is some science to it, and getting it right it can have a very huge effect on your end result. Next point, I want to talk about chasing performance. Chasing performance means you're trying to buy what's hot or get out of what's done poorly. And what happens is people get their quarterly statement or their annual statement and they go, well, look, boy, international stocks had a great year. I want to get more money in international stocks. And you know what, boy, that emerging markets has done very poorly. I need to get all my money out of that. And generally speaking, markets move in cycles. If you are doing that and trying to buy what's hot and pay for what is already expensive, you're going to be caught by what's called mean reversion. Everything typically reverts to the mean. Things that go up will come down. Things that go down will come up. Get properly allocated. Leave it alone. Don't chase the hot performer. Your friends, your neighbors, they don't know any more about investing than you do, most likely. Don't take their advice. My rule is never listen to my dad. If my dad gives me advice, I can assume that whatever he's talking about has left, that ship has sailed. So move on. If you have somebody like that, don't listen to them, because they probably don't know any more than you do. The last thing I want to touch on when it comes to investing is paying attention to fees. High fees tend to be the #1 predictor of poor investment performance. If you're paying too much in fees, you're going to probably have subpar performance. That's not a universal, but it's pretty darn close. And the point I want to get people to think about is just pay attention to the fees, because they matter. They're directly subtracting from your performance every year, every quarter. Over time, that adds up. So try to get something that's moderately inexpensive or inexpensive, and pay attention to the fees and watch where your money's going. Thank you.